Okay, so let's talk about equilibrium of rigid bodies. So we're talking about equilibrium, ibig sabihin we're dealing with bodies that are in the state of rest. So in order for a body to stay at rest or in the state of equilibrium, kinakailangan natin lagyan yung body na yon or yung structure na yon ng proper supports. Okay? So, we're giving them supports. So, ano yung mga supports na to? So, I have here mga images na mga different type of supports na makita natin sa lesson na to or throughout this course. Okay, so we have light cables, we have rollers, we have rockers, we have a smooth surface, we have a pin or a hinge, okay, a collar or a slider, okay, or a fixed support. Okay, so yan yung mga type of supports or type of connection na makita natin. Okay, and then usually we idealize this with a symbol. We give them symbols. Okay, so ito lang yung focus natin. So madalas ito yung mga lilitaw. We have a roller, no? Sometimes it is represented by that or this one. Sometimes it is called a rocker if ganyan yung itsura niya. And they can be represented by any of these three. Okay? So, if you draw the free body diagram, okay, so free body diagram, re-reflect lang natin mga forces, is ito yung magiging itsura niya. Okay? So, we have the number of unknown forces is one unknown force. Okay, that is either in that direction, kung ano yung direction ng ating roller or ng ating rocker. Okay, so the reaction, sabi dito, is a force that acts perpendicular to the surface. Okay, so if this is the surface, kung horizontal yung surface, yung kanyang reaction is vertical. If vertical yung surface, yung kanyang reaction is horizontal. If inclined yung surface, yung ating reaction is perpendicular to that inclined surface. Okay? So, this support is assumed to be able to exert a force in either direction. Okay? Next is smooth and contact surface are almost the same as a roller. Okay, na yung free body diagram niya is represented by also kung ano yung direction ng ating surface, no? Perpendicular lagi siya sa ating surface. So we have this representation of a drawing, no, for a smooth surface. Okay, and then next let's talk about a pin or a hinge. So lumabas na to sa ating mga problems before. And it is usually represented by this drawing. Okay? Ito yung ating representation. So, sinasabi doon, you have two unknowns when you have a pin or a hinge. So, you have two unknown forces. Okay? The reactions are two force components. Okay? So, the reaction forces are the forces that are exerted by the support. So, it follows the law of motion of Newton. In every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction in order to maintain equilibrium of a body. And yung magbibigay ng equal and opposite reaction na yon is yung ating mga supports. Okay? And then, we have a fixed support. Okay? So, parang wall support siya or parang cemented yung support na to na naka-fix siya sa wall or naka-embed siya sa isang wall. Okay, it is usually represented by this one. Sometimes we give it this drawing para makita na wall or fix yung part na yun. Okay, so dito we have three unknown forces. We have a vertical force, a horizontal force. Okay, hindi ko pala na ano dito yung ano sa pin, nalaktawan ko. We have here sa pin pala, we have a vertical and a horizontal. So it is always vertical and horizontal reaction when it comes na meron tayong pin. Kapag naman fixed support, we have vertical, we have horizontal, and we have a tinatawag nating couple moment or yung moment. Okay, so it is represented by a clockwise or a counterclockwise arrow, yung moment. Okay. So, the reactions are the moment and two force components, sabi dito sa definition. And other supports such as slider na hindi masyadong makita, pero makita dito it only has two forces, no? The reactions are a force and a moment. Okay, yung force na to is perpendicular doon sa surface ulit. Okay, surface ng contact ng slider natin. Okay, so yun yung mga usual type of support. Again, to review, we have a cable. So alam na natin yung cable. Cable can only support tension forces. So lagi yung force mo is palayo. Okay? And then we have rollers, we have rocker. Okay, yung rollers and rocker, yung support niya is, or yung reaction force na mapoproduce ng support na yon will always be perpendicular to the surface of the contact surface or the ground contact, no? Or kung ano man yung contact surface na meron siya. Okay, parang yung smooth surface or smooth contacting surface is parang ganun din. And then we have a pin or a hinge. Okay, so for a pin or a hinge, lagi we have vertical and horizontal. Na hindi siya independent siya sa surface na pinag-connect niya. It is always vertical and horizontal, whatever the surface nung pinagpatungan niya. Okay, and then we have yung fixed support, which has three reactions: a vertical force, a horizontal force, and a moment. Okay? Okay, so let's go through examples on how to determine the reactions at the supports. Okay, so wala na tayong masyadong panibagong concept na aaralin dito, since na na-establish na natin yung mga kailangan natin, which is yung mga summation. So kakailanganan lang natin yung mga equations na to, yung summation forces at x. Okay, alam na natin yan, or yung Rx, summation forces at y, and summation moments. Okay? Ang kaso, ang pinagkaiba lang ng mga previous lessons natin, lahat ng ito is-equate natin ng 0. Okay? So, meron tayong mga sign, mga directions na ina-assign natin sa mga, or mga signs na ina-assign natin sa direction. Kapag towards the right, that is positive sa x. Kapag upward, that is positive. And kapag clockwise sa moment, that is also positive. Okay? So, sinasabi ng equations na to, para masabi mo na yung somebody is in equilibrium, dapat you have these three checks. Una is, lahat ng horizontal forces are balanced. Pangalawang check, dapat lahat ng vertical forces are also balanced. No, ibig sabihin, walang maproproduce na net force on the vertical direction. And pangatlo is, you have summation moment equals 0. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga forces that tends to produce a rotation will also balance themselves, no? Hindi ka magkakaroon ng seesaw action. Hindi ka magkakaroon ng swaying action, no? Mananatili siyang in straight kung paano siya naka-orient originally. Ganun siya mananatili. Okay, so it requires na sa bawat point sa ating rigid body or sa ating structure, dapat walang gagalaw. Yun yung summation moment equals 0. Okay? Or yun yung tatlong equations of equilibrium natin. Okay, so first, in order to solve this one, let's draw a free body diagram. So, for example, 3.5 ng book na ginamit ko. Paano i-rotate to? Ayan. Drawing lang ako ng sorry, nahihirapan. Ayan. Okay, so free body diagram, ito. Okay, so reflect natin yung ating mga forces. So una is itong distributed force na to, which is 29.2 kilonewton, distributed uniformly throughout from this left end hanggang dun sa right end ng rigid structure na to or ng body na to, or let's call it a beam. Okay? So, check muna natin or i-resolve muna natin ano yung magiging force niya or kanyang equivalent resultant force. So, ginagawa natin is we get the area. So, get the area of the distributed force. So, ano yung area ng distributed force na to? So, that is 29.2. Okay. So, lagi mapepesto yung resultant or equivalent resultant force ng ating uniformly distributed sa gitna. Sa gitna ng distribution. Hindi sa gitna ng body. So, sa gitna ng distribution. So, ang gitna ng distribution is yung kung ano dito. So, we get the area of that. So, that is 29.2. Yung height ng rectangle. And then, yung length niya. So, nag-span siya from this point hanggang doon. So, that is 3 plus 6. That is 9. 9 plus 4.5. That is 13.5. Okay? So, 29.2 times 13.5. Let me compute. 13.5. That is 394.2. So, 394.2. Kilo Newton na siya. Hindi na siya kilo Newton per meter. Okay, and then we reflect yung mga forces na maproproduce or yung mga i-exert na reaction ng ating mga support. Okay, so at point A we have a pin. At point B we have a roller support. So, sa pin, so ano yung mga forces, mga reaction forces na meron tayo. So, babalikan natin yung kanina. Sa pin, we always have two types of forces or two reactions, I mean. So, that is a vertical reaction at the point. Okay? Tawagin natin itong reaction sa point A, its vertical component. And then we have a horizontal reaction. So, dito ko na lang siya ito-drawing. Okay? And then we have a roller. So, roller, yung kanyang reaction is dependent sa direction ng surface. So, it is always, let me erase. The reaction is always the reaction in the roller is always perpendicular with the surface. So, horizontal yung surface na pinagpatungan ng roller. So, yung ating reaction sa roller is vertical. Okay? So, tawagin natin tong reaction sa B. Since isa lang siya, wala siyang component, hindi ko siya bibigyan ng subscript. Okay, so we have, let me reflect the distances. So we have this one, this one, this one. Okay, so we have 3 meters, and then reflect din natin kung saan nakapwesto ito. So alam natin sa gitna ng distribution yung 394.2. Okay, so saan ba yung gitna ng 29.2 or saan yung gitna ng distribution na 29.2? So, alam natin yung total length ng ating distribution. So, total length of distribution is 13.5. So, we divide that by 2. Makuha natin is 6.75. Okay? So, 6.75 galing dito. So, 6.75 yun. So, kung 3 meters na to, so na para maging 6.75, magdagdag ka ng 3.75. Okay? So, and yung total ng point A to point B is 6. So, that is 6 minus 3.75. That is 2.25. And then we have 4.5 meters dito. Okay, so let's compute. So, yan ang ating free body diagram. So, para ma-solve mga reaction forces, no, we have drawn the free body diagram and then we apply the equations of equilibrium. Okay? So, unahin na natin summation Fx. So, what are the horizontal forces that are reflected in our free body diagram? So, una, we have RA in the horizontal component, or RAH. So, RAH, ano pa? So, that is towards the right, so that is positive. Meron pa ba? Wala na. So, we just equate, or since wala na, mag-isa lang siya, we equate RAH to be equal to 0. Ibig sabihin, there is no horizontal reaction since there is, to begin with, wala namang horizontal force na nag-exert na na-apply sa ating rigid body externally. So, therefore, siyempre, yung reaction, kaya nga siya tinawag na reaction is magkakaroon ka na ng reaction force kapag may forces kang in-apply on that direction. So, in this case, walang horizontal force na applied in the rigid body or in the structure. Therefore, walang magiging horizontal reaction there. Okay? Next is we have two unknowns na lang. So, we have solved this one. This is 0. So, we only have RAV and RB. Okay? So, paano natin masosolve to? So, pwede nyong gawin if try nyo. No? If try nyo una, summation Fy equals 0, tingnan nyo yung mangyayari. So, we have RAV positive, no? Since pataas siya. We have RB na positive since pataas siya. We have 394.2 na pababa. And wala nang vertical force na naka-reflect, so that is equals to 0. And if mapapansin natin, we have one equation, two unknowns, which is ito yung first unknown, second unknown. So we're not able to solve this one yet. So ang pinaka-best approach actually dito is do not start with a summation fy solution. You take advantage of summation moment equation. Okay? So you choose a point, either point A or point B. So sa pagkuha ng summation moment, you take a moment about a point in which there are two unknown forces in that point. So, for example, summation moment of A equals 0. So, mapapansin natin, if we take moment about point A, ito yung point A natin. Okay? RAV is acting at the point A. RAH is also acting at point A. Yung dalawang unknowns na yon, no, will be cancelled in our equation or in our solution. Bakit? Kasi if you remember na if a force passes through a point, no, or passes through the point of interest or at the moment center, those forces will have no moment about that point, no, which is dinominstrate na natin before na parang yung sa door hinge analogy na kapag you cannot apply a force directly at the hinge, no, kasi hindi mo ma-open yung door kapag in-apply mo yung nag-apply ka ng force directly at the hinge. So that goes to say na if you apply a force directly at the hinge, you will produce zero moment at that point, okay, or at the hinge. So in this context, yung door hinge natin is at point A, or yung ating hinge or pin is at point A, and RAV and RAH is acting at point A. So they are acting at point A. So therefore, they will produce no moment about A. So at our equation, summation moment at A, hindi lilitaw sa ating solution si RAV and RAH when we take summation moment at A. So ang lilitaw lang is yung mga forces that are not acting, or that are the forces that does not pass through at point A. So ano yung mga yon? Una is we have 394.2, it does not pass through point A and reaction sa B. Okay? So unahin na natin si RB. So RB, ito yung ating point RB. Ito yung point na kino-consider natin. So, ano yung magiging moment ni RB papunta kay A? So, ito yung I will try to ito yung ating point. Ito yung RB. Okay? So, yun yung RB. Oops. So, mangyari if we follow the direction of RB, this will try to produce a counterclockwise moment. So that is yung solution natin, dapat si RB is negative. Okay, so negative RB, no, distance niya or yung perpendicular distance towards the moment center, which is A, that is 3.75 plus 2.25, that is 6 meters, which is given na pala. Okay, and then si 394.2, no, yung kanyang moment, no, ito pala, hindi ko na kailangan pakita yung ano ko. So ito yung force, sabihin natin ito yung beam, itong ruler. Now if follow natin yung direction ni 394.2, which is pababa, so ipupush niya yung ruler pababa and about A, so magro-rotate siya A and A clockwise manner, so that is plus Okay, 394.2 times 3.75, and that is equals to 0. Okay, so ang tanong, so mapapansin natin we have one equation, we have one unknown, so this is already solvable. So we just transpose RB and then we divide both sides by 6 para maiiwan si RB. So we have 394.2 times 3.75 divided by 6. So that is equals to 246.38 kilonewton. Okay, reaction forces are always concentrated forces. Okay. Okay, so I will give you a two alternative solution para ma-solve si RA. So if nakuha mo na si RB, there are two possible solution para ma-solve si RA. Una is you take summation Fy. Okay, so this is the easiest approach after solving one unknown. Okay, so let me, so we have una vertical, so RAV positive since pataas, and then RB positive then. Okay, and then si 394.2 is pababa, equals 0. Since nasolve na natin si RB, which is that one, so we substitute. So we have RAV plus 246.38 minus 394.2 equals 0. So RAV is equals to, so we just transpose yung mga numbers. Okay, so we have transposition negative 246.38 plus 394.2. We have RAV equals to 147.82. Okay, so in direction nitong nakuha natin is upward. Okay, so dito sa equilibrium of rigid bodies, yung mga signs indicates, no? Kuwari, negative na kuha mong answer. Ang ibig sabihin nun is hindi downward or hindi upward or hindi left or hindi right. Ang ibig sabihin nun is when you get a negative reaction, that just means that you have assumed the wrong direction at the first place. Now, for example, inassume ko si RB na pababa. So, pwede yun. Sa free body diagram ko, inassume ko. And then, nakuha ko yung RB, for example lang, no, is negative. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun is, kung negative nakuha ko, ibig sabihin, dapat upward yung aking solution. Kasi, inassume ko siya dito as pababa. So, ano yung opposite ng pababa? So, ibig sabihin ng negative is mali ako ng assumption. So, ang mangyari is, i-correct mo lang yung drawing mo. Negative indicates that you have assumed the direction at the first step in drawing the free body diagram. So, pag ganon, you can now transform the answer into a positive answer kapag tinama mo na yung direction mo doon. Okay? So, actually, ito na yung mga answers, but I will give a second alternative solution to solve RAV. So, another solution that you can do is, instead of summation forces, you use summation moment ulit. Okay? So, kanina nag-summation moment at A tayo, magka-cancel si RAV and si RAH, pero wala din namang kwenta yun na makancel si RAH dahil 0 na siya at the start. Pero, yun yung general way. So, mag-moment ka sa B. Kapag nag-moment ka sa B, there is a force or a reaction force that passes directly at point B. So, that reaction force will produce 0 moment at that point, which is yun si RB. So we take summation moment of B, we take clockwise positive. So ano pa ba yung mag-0 moment about B? Si RAH. So dalawa din yung maka-cancel mo kapag nag-moment ka kay B. Pero yun nga, since RAH is 0 to begin with, wala na siya masyadong effect. Okay? So, ang mangyari is, si RAV, siya yung magkakaroon ng moment about B. So, this is RAV. So, kung titingnan natin, no, hawakan ko at this point yung ating ruler at point B. And then, rotate natin, or follow natin direction ni A. Kapag finallow natin direction ni A, okay, the beam or the ruler is have a tendency to rotate in a clockwise motion. So that is RAV times yung distance siya papuntang B, that is 6 meters then. And then we have 394.2, no? 394.2. So it will, if we follow natin yung direction niya, it will rotate in a counter clockwise manner. So this minus 394.2 times distance niya papunta sa B is 2.25. So that is equals to 0. We just transpose yung mga numbers and we divide both sides by 6 para maiwan si RAV. So that is 394.2 times 2.25 meters over 6 meters. So let me calculate. That is 147.825 or 83. Okay, so this is basically the same. Okay, since 0.01 lang naman natin. So you have two kind of solution to get the last unknown. Either you use the most simplest one, which is summation Fy, or summation moment at B. Okay, so those are the alternative solution. Okay, so there is an advantage and disadvantage. Advantage nito is madali. Disadvantage niya is connected siya dito, no, sa una mong nakuwang sagot. Ito naman, advantage niya is hindi siya connected on. So, hindi siya connected sa nakuha mong answer dito. Since mapansin natin, hindi lumitaw si 246.38 sa ating solution. So, yun yung advantage nun dahil if ever na nagkamali ka sa nakuha mo dito, pwede pa rin maging tama yung dito, no? There is a chance na makuha mo pa rin na tama yung last answer even if nagkamali ka dun sa second answer. Okay, so that is